this movie's legendary for a lot of reasons, man. The punk rock characters, it's actually a really well-made, like, funny, campy zombie movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's got some of the best zombies. It's the first time that I remember them ever talking at all.
Well, let's talk about that real quick, because I do have a question. How many zombie movies were there between Night of the Living Dead and Return of the Living Dead?
What's up, everybody? How you doing? Welcome back to the Punk Rock Review Podcast. Man, I tell you what, bro, I'm so freaking pumped right now. This is my dude, Steven Farshid. This is a very good friend of mine. We met just kind of like at one of my stores that I owned, like, I don't know, what, 6-7 years ago now? Dude's been a long time, bro.
Wow. Damn, I can't believe it's been that long.
Yeah, and he just walked in and we're like, oh, we're friends.
It was like you were actually a big time asshole, but that's why I loved you. I mean, dude, that's all there is to it.
Man, like, I have refused service to people on a basis that, like, it's so frequent now. I love it. It's my favorite part of my job. And at my other job, at my store, I like to do it because it's like, you know, if you come in here being a turd, you got to go. Yeah. But at Alamo, it's like the best shit in the world. Like, the one thing that they let me do there is like enforce our policies, because I absolutely hate it when people are rude. It ain't got nothing to do with the policies. It's like, hey, man, how you doing? Are you catching a movie? They're like, because I'm the bartender. So, like, if I have to do all this, I'm already irritated that I have to do this. Hey, how you doing? You catching a movie? And they're like, yeah, they do this thing to me. And I'm like, I got to see your ticket. And then now, bro, I would have said, all right, enjoy your movie, but you did this stuff to me. So now you got to stop and come back. And, oh, look, it's just so happens to be like the cutoff time. You got to go, buddy. Like, I mean, we don't say it like that. We do that. We do that whole smile and say some real rude shit to you. Like,
yeah, dude, our very first interaction was me asking you for if you sold a certain comic book, and you said, no, I don't sell stupid shit here. That was,
I mean, like, in all fairness, bro, like,
oh, it was probably really stupid shit. I mean, that's all there's to it.
Oh, man, that's funny, bro. So, all right, folks, tonight we're talking punk rock and horror movies are on a collision course for this one, man. We're talking about Return of the Living Dead, bro. So this is your first time seeing this?
Yeah, I mean, if you've ever seen any of our shows together, I think the appeal of having me on here is the fact that I'm not like a horror guy. I don't see this stuff. I've never seen this stuff. I've never seen Night of the Living Dead, so I don't think
boring.
I don't think I needed to see that to see this. Everything that I needed to know, they kind of explained to me in the first 10 minutes of this film. So no, I had never seen it, but a little spoiler, I'm glad that I did.
Dude, this movie. So I hadn't watched it in a hot minute, bro. And I turned it on with Carissa. We were just like sitting on the couch, and every 2 or 3 minutes, I was like, "I love this movie." And she's like, "Yeah, I know it's like midnight. Would you shut up?" I'm like, "I can't. This movie rules."
And she's like, "No, I'm with Randall. I should know better. He's not gonna shut up."
Bro, that's a factual statement. So it's billed as a horror comedy. All right, 1985. It's been like, dude, how many years since Night of the Living Dead? 20-something years.
Yeah.
So you have Night of the Living Dead, which is the OG of OGs zombie movies. It's the originator. It's a necessity, right? But it's kind of boring, man. It's kind of a boring movie. It's in black and white. Like, I get that we need it. We also needed the Clash for Rancid to exist. I don't like I'm not here to like crap on them, but like I don't really care for the Clash. Bro, I've had to really like reel in how I talk about bands because people get super upset. People are like, "But that's my favorite band," and then they just start evacuating, blood cells, and they just start,
Yeah, but it's your channel. Aren't you here to talk about what you like?
You would think.
I don't know.
You would think, but that is not the case, sir. I have got to appease the mob. All right, guys, I'm sorry. I'm not worthy. Now, dude, my crowd is small but awesome, bro. I love my peoples, man.
Appeasing the crowd does not sound like your style anyway.
It is not my style. I had a whole conversation with a viewer the other day about this like rapper kid that he was like, "This guy sounds like a punk artist," and I was like, "How much you want to bet he doesn't?" And that's all and the guy's like, "No, seriously, like, listen to this like part of this Kanye West song," and I'm like, "My guy, like, you just said he sounds like a punk artist, but listen to this Kanye West beat. Like, just things are inherently different. Like, it's not even a bad. I didn't say good or bad. I said not punk rock." And he couldn't understand what I meant. We went back and forth. But I mean, in all fairness, I did give the guy some time. I was talking to him about it, and he was asking, like, so what makes something punk rock? I'm like, I don't even know how to explain that to you, bro. I was like, you hear it and you know it, and I just sent him a link to a few songs, like, here, this, and he's like, oh, I think I get it, and I was like, that's all I had to do was send you a link. Damn, I was yapping and shit. Like,
you gotta admit though, there is some elements to Kanye's personality there that's very, very
okay.
punk rock.
So Kanye West may be punk rock, but he doesn't make punk rock. Those are
Agreed.
two different things, man. That's the thing that I probably bicker about with people the most, is that you can be very punk rock and like, style, ethos, attitude, all that stuff, and not be making punk rock music. And I don't know. It's such a stupid thing to argue about. I mean, there's so many rules in this thing that we do, so we don't have to obey rules. It's
a good point.
dumb. I love it, bro. Okay, so this movie starts off with, I don't know their names, okay? I've seen this movie 30 times, so I couldn't tell you the names of people. But that one guy, he's sitting in there like the office with his boss, right? It starts off with the guy. Crap, how does it start?
No, it starts off at like the job.
Yeah, the job site.
The guy's first day at the job, yeah. And it's his first day, and it seems like it's the Friday before 4th of July at like 3 p.m. That does not seem like the ideal time to begin training somebody, I thought. You know what I mean? I mean, like, you're kind of checked out at that point.
Bro, I'm checked out anyways, but yeah. I mean, like...
Also, I really don't know why it had to be 4th of July weekend. I thought that was going to come into play. Thought we were going to see some fireworks at some point, but that never does. So
I think that back in the 80s and 90s, and now I'm just speculating, but I think that back then they had movies that if they could tie it into a holiday for any reason at all, it could come out around that holiday and be a bigger... that's just what I mean, somebody that's watching this may have a better idea as to why they did that. I mean, I'm not... Y'all are going to have a hard time deciphering when we're like joking around and when we're being serious, but like right now I'm just plainly stating that that's my speculation, is that so that's why they did stuff like that.
No, it makes sense. I mean, the audience for this type of movie is at the time, I mean, even now, is probably pretty limited. So if they can sucker in a few extra people that say, hey, it's 4th of July weekend, we're bored, we have the day off of work, let's go see a movie. They go see this one because somebody mentioned 4th of July in this movie. I don't know.
It's supposed to be like zombies attacking on the 4th of July. I mean, honestly, that gets me into the theater. I'm like, what? Let's go watch that.
Oh, absolutely. 100. I'd go every July 4th if there was a new July 4th.
It's like
every time.
It's like I get a choice between that or a Christopher Nolan movie, dude. Fucking, I'm going to the zombie flick, bro.
Don't get me started on that, but
yeah,
I'm not a huge fan of people that like to smell their own farts. It's just not my style. It might be good, but like, just because you love your brand doesn't mean I have to sit in the movie theater and breathe it in the entire time.
Bro.
I'm just saying. I mean, genius. I'm sure he's a genius. He's made more films than I have. So
Well, dude, so part of why I'm laughing is because that's just the most gnarly way to say that. But part of it's because on his other movie he did, what's that one he just did about the atomic bomb or whatever, right?
Yeah, Oppenheimer.
See, I can't even remember the name of that sorry ass movie. So I have a a Letterboxd account that I'm not very active on, but every now and then I get on there and I just like gaslighting people. Yeah. And so I have this. Like you. Yeah. I had this Oppenheimer review where I gave it like half a star and I gave it like all these reasons, but I never watched it and like nobody understood.
I gotta read this.
Bro, here, hold on. I'll just read it right now. Hold on, bro. Fuck it, dude.
Because we're not talking about a movie or anything.
No, bro. Hold on, bro. Okay, I'll do it in a minute. I'll go. No, because like some people at work were like, "Hey, man, what's up? What's with the Oppenheimer beef?" And I was like, "A movie's terrible." They're like, "Dude, what'd you not like about it?" And I was able to convince everybody that I had seen it because I was able to just I know enough about movies and I know enough about Christopher Nolan and I know enough about the atomic bomb and Oppenheimer to know like how to just like, plus I read some reviews. So I was able to like bounce off of what these guys said, like things that they would say were positive. I was like, and then this and this and this. And like, you didn't like that? I'm like, no, it's trash, bro. Like,
yeah, but Iron Man was in that movie, dude.
Wait, Robert Downey Jr. was?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Is in that movie.
Oh, that's funny,
I
bro.
think he got
Well,
an Oscar nomination for his role in that movie, which I thought was
that's
strange because it wasn't that big of a role. But,
dude. All those award shows are so
mhm.
stupid. They don't mean anything to me. Like you can just buy an award. It's like the Grammys, bro. Like I couldn't give any less of a shit about Grammys than I do now, outside the fact that somebody I love has a couple of them. Tim Armstrong's got a couple of Grammys.
I mean, if somebody deserves it.
If they deserve it, but oftentimes the guy that deserves it is the one that's looked over. It's the dudes that paid the most for the
Well, that's what I'm
ads.
saying. If somebody deserves it, it's Tim Armstrong.
Oh yeah, for sure. Well, he
I
got
mean,
one for working with Pink and doing that Trouble song, which sounds like a Rancid song. So I think that's kind of
mhm,
hilarious. And then he worked with Jimmy Cliff, reggae guy, and got
mhm.
a Grammy with him on. I think it's called like Rebirth or something.
Hmm.
But yeah. So zombies and shit.
Oh yeah, zombies. Yeah.
So Buddy's like talking to his new boss about his boss is explaining stuff to him, and they're talking shit about these like they're basically explaining Night of the Living Dead. That's right. They were at
Mhm.
the office at the very beginning of this movie. They're explaining the first movie about like kind of what happens, and
Yeah.
this dude's kind
Which
of
I
a
appreciated as somebody that had never seen it before. I liked the fact that they actually tried to make that connection. I like that.
Well, let me ask you this. I was of the mindset that was a really clever way of shoehorning that in there.
100%. I agree.
I thought that was cool.
The whole job interview thing was, like I said, felt a little like weird and forced and out of place, but because it really didn't have anything to do with like, if they stayed in that facility the entire time, then I could understand it. But the only reason there was for the supposition to get you caught up to what happened in the first one and link the two.
Sort of, but it did make sense because it's his first day, so he's like training. He's not really interviewing; he's training. He's in his his orientation, right? And so like those characters are important throughout the whole movie. So like the setting is important because of that. Now I do think it was a little long-winded. It could have been like a quick quick intro, like he's walking in, saying hello, and then they're stuck in this building. But they wanted to tell us what's going on. It's not perfect, but I like what they did with it.
I was to be honest with you, I was very surprised that the first like zombie attack was over halfway through the movie. I thought that was strange.
That's true. That's true.
I thought that was a strange choice. In hindsight, the movie works, but
right.
I thought that was a really ballsy choice there to spend so much time on this build up and this backstory. And I mean, they spent a lot of time on the punk rock kids, like leading up to it.
Yeah. And I think that's because I think this movie, okay. I don't know any of this to be true, but it feels to me like they were looking at things because back then in the middle of the 80s, you could already tell what cult classic status is.
Mm-hmm.
And if you got the opportunity to make something with the Living Dead in the title, but you were still on kind of a low budget, and you could get Leanna Quigley in there, and you could get her to like.
So I didn't know who that was, by the way. And yeah, because I'm not like I said, I'm not a horror guy, so I'm the only Scream Queen that I know. I actually met her recently is Brinky Stevens because she was married to Dave Stevens, and that's the comic connection for me because I'm a Dave Stevens fan. But I don't really know much about Scream Queens, but I learned it real quick from that scene there.
Yeah. Well, so I think that they were just banking on the fact that if they had these characters in there, that honestly, those characters are more interesting than a zombie. Because
I mean, at least she was. I'll tell you that much.
Well, she definitely was.
I mean, you know what sucks too? Because I know for a fact that she didn't get paid any more than any of those other people, but she was naked the entire fucking time. I mean, they, like you see a scene in a modern movie like that, and she does this weird thing where she rips her clothes off and starts dancing on her grave, and you're like, okay, that's a cool, interesting scene. They got flares, and I like the scene. And then they cut. When they come back, she's wrapped up in something. Oh no, not this one. She stayed naked and I mean full frontal nudity, very, very Barbie looking there. I mean, there was there was no detail there. I didn't know what was happening. I thought she had like some kind of pantyhose on. I mean, she was full frontal.
She was very freshly shaven, but I would obviously I was gonna say I liked what that happened in the movie, but of course, right? She's a super hot chick back then, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when I first saw this movie, I thought it was excellent because you never got full frontal nudity back then. It was always like a quick boob shot. So like this movie's legendary for a lot of reasons, man. The punk rock characters. It's actually a really well-made, like funny, campy zombie movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's got some of the best zombies. It's the first time that I remember them ever talking at all.
Well, let's talk about that real quick, because I do have a question. How many zombie movies were there between Night of the Living Dead and Return of the Living Dead, would you say, if you had to guess? Not very many,
if I had to guess, yeah, a handful.
Not even.
Okay, no. There was plenty.
Really?
Because 85, yeah, because the 70s had a lot of stuff. There was, I mean, I would say, you know what? I'm gonna Google that question and see if I can come up with an actual answer.
Well, the reason I'm asking is because, okay, so obviously I'm not familiar with the horror genre, but I am familiar with the zombie genre because I am 45 years old, and therefore I was alive during this whole zombie explosion, and not just alive, but like an adult watching lots and lots and lots of zombie content over the last 20 years. So I'm very familiar with the genre. Now, it seems like in that time period that there is a set of rules for zombies. And one of the things is they don't speak. That's for damn sure. And then the only two differentiators, and people talk about it, is it fast zombies or slow zombies? That's the thing that I hear a lot when you talk about zombie movies. Okay. This surprised the shit out of me. Not only do we have fast zombies, we have thinking zombies, we have creative zombies, we have communicating zombies. Right. And not just like in saying what they want, just saying brains over and over again. They literally get on the microphone and says, "Send more police." You know what I mean? Like,
oh, dude, that's one of the best parts of the whole movie. Well, okay. So look, man, I'm a horror fan. I would even go as far as to say fanatic, but I don't know like facts and things like that. Like I would venture to say there was quite a few zombie movies, but I think they were all pretty much up to this point slow, non-speaking, very much just zombies. What you think of as like a cartoon zombie, walk forward.
But that's even more interesting because that means that they already had the genre that existed. This movie decided to break that wide open, come up with its own set of rules of how zombies were going to act, and then quickly the genre abandoned that again because I mean I don't know. Let's say there's 250 zombie movies out there that hit theaters or went to video. How many of them have talking, thinking, communicating?
I mean,
zombies?
Even right now, it's still a small number.
I mean, yeah, exactly. So I thought it was an extremely interesting choice because Night of the Living Dead, they were just
they were just
their hands through the walls and trying to get in the house. That was it, right?
I said talking, I meant plotting. They were just like walking around like, just looking for people to eat. But and it's very slow too. Yeah, so I think that is this is a much campier route than the original. And comparing Night of the Living Dead to the Return of the Living Dead is kind of silly because it's almost like it said we're going to go for a parody. Well, almost. They're not. To my understanding, these aren't related movies. I don't think they're in the same family of movies. They weren't made by the same people. They were.
Yeah, but they used the plot of that movie. They used the title.
You know what, dude?
You know what I'm saying? It is a direct sequel. Technically, I'm not saying they did it with permission. I'm not saying that the original team had anything to do with this one. But they made it a point to reference the original movie and make that the driving plot of this movie. So that's an important distinction here. My question is, why did they deviate with how far, like so far? I've never seen zombies act like this, me personally.
Okay. So look, I watch a lot of movies like this. I haven't seen a ton of roles like this. There are some. The talking zombie is a sub genre though. Now, and like at this time of point in time, but back then it definitely wasn't. But it says here that it actually was of the Living Dead was part of a sequel to capitalize on the success of Night of the Living Dead. Of course, obviously, right. But that there was a novel written, and then this movie was just loosely adapted into a film. So I don't know where I heard that it wasn't related. So that's my fuck up. Sorry.
Well, like I said, I mean, even in the beginning, the first 15 minutes, they spend time describing the situation that happened back in the day. I mean, whether it was the situation they used in the original movie or not. I don't know if they did chemicals. I don't know how that worked. They didn't even explain it. Did they in the first movie? I don't know.
No.
It was just Yeah.
Well, now that I'm thinking about it, I had another Romero movie and Fulci's Zombie mixed up. That's the one that's the same title but not related.
Okay.
Anybody's
Gotcha.
out there pissed off at me, I just got the.
How come they're always so pissed off at you?
People get mad about everything, bro. If you don't know everything, you have no right to be on a platform. If you're not the best,
why would I go on to an entertainment platform and get mad about things? I don't. Anyway,
because you're a fucking loser.
So
anybody that's mad at me right now about that.
I want to talk real quick about some things that I saw that I liked in the first half of the movie. First
Were
of all,
two of them boobs?
Oh God, I'm trying to be not the gross like old man here, but that was a fantastic situation. Let's just put it that way.
Bro,
and even when she was zombified, they left her naked. But yeah, dude, and I'm really glad.
Well, she's notorious for being scantily clad in her films,
but notorious at this point she wasn't. This was her first real shot. So, and she fucking went for it. And obviously,
she
the
really
directors
did go for
are the ones that were giving her this information. Sadly, there's no way she was paid any extra to anybody than anybody else in the film. But like, she just did it. I mean, she did it. And I applaud her, and I'm happy that she did it because it obviously launched her career.
I was gonna say, so she wasn't paid any extra. I don't actually know if that's true or not. Likely it's true.
Yeah.
But out of all the people in the whole movie, she's the one that's talked about, brought up the most. She's the one that's remembered the most. She's probably the one that got the most roles from that. So like,
she's also the most dynamic character. Forget about the nudity. She's sitting there she's talking about fantasizing about the way she wants to die, and it's a bunch of old men eating her. And it's like some of these zombies were from the 1800s. They don't get any older than that.
Right. Yeah. She was very much. She well written, man. Like that character is the most intriguing person in the film. Other than maybe that general guy, and the only reason that he was intriguing is because you don't know much about who he is and why he's there. But outside of that, she was the most entertaining, most dynamic, like you said, the most intriguing. Her acting wasn't, I wouldn't call it like amazing, but it was fine, you know.
But I felt like she was like the most punk rock person of everybody there too. Like even
that guy
leader,
that was really. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Even him was like almost like a satirical version of a punk rock person.
You think this is a costume, man?
Yeah.
This is a way of life.
That's exactly. So that's almost like a commentary on the punk rock scene, as opposed to somebody actually playing a punk rocker. Whereas she, in my opinion, embodied the whole punk rock, just like my freedom. I'm going to express myself. I don't give a fuck. You know what I mean?
I would agree with that. I think that the group of misfits being very diversified, I think, is pretty accurate.
Diversified? You mean not just ethically?
Oh no, I just meant like there was like a nerdy guy. There was a cool black dude in there.
There was like a girl that looked like Molly, like 16 Candles.
Yeah, like the girl next door, and you had like the punk, the anarchist chick, the street punk guy. So it's a very diverse group of people, and that was very representative of the group of people that I grew up around. There was always the one guy that didn't quite fit in, but he was still very much into the music and the scene. So we had those people that were always around and hanging out with us. Our group of people was very eclectic like that. So, but yes, I do think
that. I mean, that's what punk rock is: acceptance.
Yes.
Right? Like,
well,
we're all outsiders. No. I mean, at least that's the way
it
started. We're outsiders, and now we're together.
That's the thing, is that we're all outsiders, but somebody that's not really an outsider that gets to go and just insert themselves in, that's where it becomes no. So it's very, very gray, blurry lines. But yeah, there are people that want to say there's no rules. That's so stupid. Of course, there are. There's rules with everything. But anyways, I do think it is a caricature of punk rock. That guy that was the main dude, first off, that guy, nobody behaved like that guy that I've ever met in my life. But we all talked like that privately. Man, like, this isn't how I just look, man. This is how but it wasn't all angry outside professing my punk rockness. You know, it was like talking with your buddies, like, yeah, I don't understand why they don't like this shirt. Who gives a shit what I'm wearing? This is just who I am. But yeah, it was a caricature of how we really felt inside. But that dude saying that, while silly, spoke volumes, dude, because that's exactly what all of us think. We may not say it like that and be all dramatic, but it's what we think. I don't know how else to say it, but that's exactly how I feel.
So it's nice to hear somebody on the screen saying this at this point.
While ridiculous, it is incredibly nice to see that and see somebody else representing us and going through the same struggles and the same mental struggles. And
And transport yourself back to 1985 as well. At that time,
right.
How many people in a movie? And I don't think this was a big production movie, but how many people in a movie that a lot of people saw had a character like that at that point in 1985?
Yeah.
Probably not very many.
Not very many.
You know who's also strong real to me, and I want to give him some credit, is the smaller punk guy, because
he was my favorite.
His whole attitude to me was like, cops have been kicking my ass since day one. And like, to me, that seems like something that has happened to every person that puts themselves in this type of subculture, is this general disdain or slash fear of authority and running into it constantly, getting your ass kicked. The fear of, he says, the cops say they're going to shoot me next time that I'm in this park. You know what I mean? And it's just like, just that.
You're talking about little homie with the mohawk, right? The actual mohawk.
Yes.
I liked him because he represented what a real punk rocker might look like back then, with the mohawk and stuff, right? Like the girl with the red hair, the Lena Quigley, she looked pretty accurate, but like the leader guy didn't. The Rick James looking fella didn't really look like a real. I mean, maybe like an early '80s punker, maybe, I guess, but like I've never seen anybody look like that. But he definitely looked like Rick James got hit with a Sex Pistols bat and like just.
Yeah,
I don't know, but back in the early '80s, man, punk rock was still developing its own style, developing its own set of rules.
Well, especially American punk rock.
All of it was, man, because all of it started around the same time, late '70s. As a matter of fact, I would go as far as to say that American stuff started before the European stuff, but it was very different. Yeah, because the Ramones came out like 2 years before the Sex Pistols did, and like. You know, the Sex Pistols were like a manufactured band. They weren't even like naturally, they didn't like come together as friends and start a band. The Ramones did, you know what I'm saying? So like, but the UK punk was a lot more political than American stuff.
Exactly.
American stuff was so there's two different factions throughout punk rock. They blended together in the 80s and became just punk rock and not UK and American punk. At least that's how I look at it.
Well, when you're living under a monarchy, you're going to have hundreds and hundreds and even thousands of years of this oppression.
Right.
You know, and it's all it is wealth. I mean, of course, we live in a capitalist society here too, and the president, although different than a king, the symbol is all still the same. So I understand that, but like the mass accumulation of wealth at the cost of individual rights is what a monarchy really is. And if you're living under that system for all these years, and you grew up, and your parents grew up, and I think that the subculture of punk rock is almost just a natural evolution. You know what I mean? And that's why I mean, to me, that's why I without the education that you would have, or some of your followers or listeners would have, to me, I just feel like English, European punk rock is something that was an idea that was probably ingrained in them before American.
It actually happened. Oh,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
That's exactly what I'm saying. Before it actually became a visual thing with colorful
we were two
hair
different. We were two different places and two different stages of our history, right? So the America, where we were like just rock and roll, as Rancid, so eloquently puts it in one of their songs, right? Over there, it was already, they were like hundreds and hundreds of years ahead of us in that bullshit. We were still fairly young. Like, we're still a fairly young country. We're the youngest country on the planet, aren't we? Or
probably not true, but
but like
youngest first world country. Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. That's kind of what I meant, Yeah. So, we were still,
whatever the fuck first world means, by the way.
Wealthier than Zimbabwe.
Yeah, whatever. I just used a shortcut. It's a shitty shortcut, but that's what I used.
Well, it is what it is, man. People that are upset by that or whatever, man. I don't care. It's ridiculous. It was more of a personal rebellion here. Like, man, screw you, my teachers, my parents, they all get on my nerves. I want to go rock and roll, man. Rock and roll. And in Europe, it was like, anarchy in the UK. Like, it was like they were wanting to rebel.
Fuck authority at all costs.
Yeah, I think down here it was just a smaller thing, and back there they wanted it to be a grand movement, and down here it was a personal movement. And then it intertwined and became the movement. And that's just the way I look at it personally. I mean, I'm not going to claim to be the knower of all. I think that You know, I don't know. People argue about this stuff all the time, and it's fun to argue about it, but it's also real silly. But
and I'm the last person that should even be commentating on it. It's
not even a little bit, sir. Like, that's not true at all.
Yeah.
Everybody that sees it, is around it, has ever
Mhm.
experienced it, has a right to talk about it. Like, I'm not going to gatekeep to that degree. It's fucking crazy, man. Like, if you have an opinion, if anywhere on the internet it's safe to talk about that, it's here, man. Like, look, I may not agree with everybody, but you're welcome to come over here and say some stupid shit if you want. Not you, but like the collective you.
Mhm.
You know, if somebody wants to come in here, I have a bunch of like, I've been doing a lot of OI content lately, right? That brings out a bunch of fucking idiots, man. You know, and you want to be a dumbass. I'll probably block you, but you can do it. I'm not gonna
Mhm.
tell you not to. I'm gonna tell you, hey, I don't talk about that here. It's not how I roll. I ain't with that shit. And if
Yeah.
you continue to do it, hey, look, I gave you the hint. You weren't able to read, so I blocked you. But like, you know, you can have an opinion. Everybody's allowed to have an opinion. That to me is like the base of what I live by. Is like, you're allowed to have your opinion.
Mhm.
You know, it's freedom of speech, freedom of opinion, freedom to be who you want to be. Now, if I observe you being a big piece of crap,
Mhm.
I will address that. But I
Yeah.
like to know who's the piece of crap and who's not. Dude, say it out loud. Like, be yourself, man. Litmus tests are needed, bro. I want to know who I'm dealing with, man. I don't want to be, because in the shadows, man, people be doing some wild shit. I want it to be brought to the light, man. I want to know.
Yeah, man.
Man.
I mean, it's for me, as far as like speaking on the subject of what it is and what it isn't. I'm not the authority, and just because
Neither am I. Let me be
I'm
very clear
not
about that.
just because I'm not completely submerged in this subculture, I still think that a lot of the ideology is something that I could definitely get behind. I
Right.
mean,
Yeah. I mean,
I live a
yeah.
comfortable life, and I do like my life, but uh, stepping on the necks of others to get to a better position in life is something I'll never ever get behind and never tolerate around me ever. That's
Well,
it.
first off, that's a beautiful thing to say. I firmly believe that. But like what I was gonna say is why do you think that we're friends, man? I can tell that. I don't associate with people that are just gross. Like, I just don't. I've had plenty of opportunities to be friends with people that could have gotten me things, gotten me money, gotten me somewhere in my career, whatever that might be. I chose not to. I don't want to be around people that are like that. And I know you don't think like that. You've earned everything you've gotten. I mean, you went through some rough shit a few years ago, man. I'm not going to get into details, but you went through some rough shit, man. I was there and saw that. I remember that.
Yeah.
I've been through plenty of rough things. I mean, you know, it's life. Life is tough for everybody, man. Just because somebody might have a little bit of cash now, you don't know what they did. As an example, I live pretty well, man. I got a nice place. I got two like brand new cars. I bought two brand new cars this year with my own money, right?
Okay.
Bro, it's crazy that I was able to do that. I mean, I didn't buy them cash, I'm financing them, but like
You sure?
I 2023 and a 2024, I bought brand new, right? So if you just look at me from the outside, you're like, oh, this dude's middle aged. He's got this nice car. It's not super nice, but it's nice. I like it. I'm proud of it, right?
Good.
Oh, he's got his own place, got his little business. Bro, you don't know what I've been through, man. My whole 20s, I was strung out, living in like places with holes in the floor, roommates I didn't even know their name. Like,
Yeah.
you know, flop houses, dope houses, whatever you want to call them, bro. That's where I lived. My wife could tell you that. She was there. She took drop me off from work. And so, you know,
There's very few people.
my point is that you got where you're at from your hard work. Nobody helped you get, or maybe not helped you, but nobody gave you that.
I will say this about you, Randall, and I'm sure it's people that follow you understand it, but um, the definition of hard work is obviously different for everybody. Hard work could be physical work. Some hard work could be things that involve lots of brain power, and I haven't seen very many people that have come through what you've come through and work as hard as you do to get where you're at, and you never stop. Like here we are, here I am 7-8 years later after meeting you, and it's this, you're the same fucking guy, you're the same dude doing the same damn thing, but it just clicks and it takes time, and look where you're at, man.
Bro, it does take time.
It does. I mean, for some people they get it like this, but me and you were not those kind of people. So
no, I'll tell you the word. There's a one word that makes all of this stuff possible.
Mhm.
I'll give you one guess. What do you think the word is? Because when I tell you, you're gonna go, "Oh, of course."
Perseverance.
Fucking close, man. Resilience.
Okay.
Resilience. You perseverance may as well be the same word, man. They're very similar in definition, right? To you have to be resilient to persevere, right? Like so that's the thing is like most people give up so fast, dude.
Yeah.
Like I'm not even talking shit. I feel bad for them, man. Like I have lost everything in my life multiple times, bro.
Mm-hmm.
That is more reason to not give up. Now I don't have the same attachment.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're good. I was gonna say I don't have the same attachment to like physical things that I once did, but I do want to try harder. Is my point. So I want to leave more behind. I want to let my kids leave them happy, healthy, and hopefully, secure financially if I can make that happen somehow. But I want to leave behind a legacy where people go, "Oh no, man, Bricken's dad was cool. I knew him. He was a nice dude. He helped people out. That's what I want to leave behind." And but I also don't want to work for people, man. I've done it too many years, bro.
Yeah,
working for other people that own these big companies, it's fucked, man. If I can get written up for talking like this, because that's just how I talk at work, I don't have any desire to. I don't want to work for somebody else because nobody gives a shit about you, anyways, man. When you're at your job, dude, if you got a job, understand that your job does not care about you
at all.
It's unfortunate, man, but it's the truth.
They might care about you on the individual level, and they like you, and they want to help you if they can every now and then. But if push comes to shove, there's no question. Nobody's going to have your back. You're on your own. That's for fact.
Yeah.
But listen, we are talking about a movie, and I wanted to say something.
Oh shit, we were
totally free. The first half of the movie, although I thought was a little slow, and it took a little bit long to get to the meat and potatoes, there were a couple things that I really liked. The original scene where they open the canister and that face melting scene, that was nice. I
loved it.
That.
Very Evil Dead. Very.
It was indeed.
Yeah.
Raimi. Yeah, absolutely. I really like the split dog, even though I cannot stand animal cruelty. I can't watch it if somebody's hurting an animal in a movie or anything. I have to look away. That's just how I am. But when that dog was yelping, that half a dog was yelping, and they were trying to put it out of its misery, and did a terrible job of doing that because, of course, it was made of rubber. But I really like first of all the practical effects were I mean amazing. That practical I don't know what it was. It looked like a mannequin. It was that corpse that came to life that was in the bag. It was like the fresh cadaver that came out and just straight up attacked the dude, just naked, hairless man.
Well, it was like they did a really good job filming that because it was a bunch of different things, dude. It was probably part mannequin, part real person.
Yeah.
Because they were doing really good with the editing. Like you could never really tell where the fake started and the real began, and the real ended, and the fake started.
It's like the shaky cam kind of things that they do a lot of times, but they don't have budget to.
Yeah, well, they did this one really well though. Like it was hard to figure out where it was what, right? And I thought that the choice of filming down below that shelf, so it was the foot, so they didn't have to worry about it being a real person. It could be a real person because it's just his feet, so you just see it moving around. Doesn't have to look like a zombie back then. You know what I'm saying? So like, just smart choices were made with that part. I like that too.
Cutting his head off and having, I fantastic scene. It was chaos.
Agreed.
We talked. What's her name? Leah. How do you
Lena Quigley?
Lena Quigley. I mean, everything about her in the first scene I liked, including her ridiculously hot body. But
bro, hey, look, I do want to point something out. There is a standard that was held back in the 80s that is not held anymore. Dude, the way she was shaped was preposterous.
Well,
like it was 10 out of 10 out of 10. Back then, girls had flat butts. She did not have a flat butt. It wasn't like ginormous, but it wasn't flat. She was shaped like. But
she also
bravo to her, man.
She also did the thing that Instagram and TikTok girls do, these days with the arch, and you know what I'm saying? You can look at the same woman and be like, oh, she doesn't have much of a butt, and then all she has to do is a little pop out, and then it's like boom, it's there. And like she did that already. And that scene where she was walking towards the dude when she was already a zombie, and that walk she was doing,
it's called the saunter, bro. The saunter.
But I mean, like, how many people in 1985 kind of had that perfected? And
probably ones we didn't know about, but like as far as famous people, bro, that wasn't. She was using sex appeal.
She was.
to her benefit to like the nth degree, and I think she's probably lived an entire life of, you know, whatever I consider it success
Fucking
due to that, right?
bravo. Fucking bravo.
So here's the thing: the first day that I ever saw my wife, I was at HEB grocery store, and I was walking down a hallway.
Shout out local Texans.
Absolutely, man. I was walking down the hall, and she had to like cross in front of me to go down an aisle. And I remember I was like, I probably was on an iPod at the time. This is a long time ago, and I'm looking at listening to music. I was going to a break. I'll never forget it. She walked past me, and I remember like seeing like feet go past me. Right, I'm a people watcher, so if I see somebody walk past me, I always look up, doesn't matter who they are. And so I looked up, and I remember thinking like, "Damn, those jeans." She had that same walk, dude, and that's exactly what made me go talk, bro. And my wife is shapely, bro. She's curvy, but I was like, oh my goodness, yeah. And then I, got told fuck off a couple of times. She was not trying to go on a date with me, bro.
and then what do we talk about the word of the day here for Randall? Resilience and perseverance.
Yeah. Well, and to be very clear about that, folks, that did not mean anything sketchy or shitty, man. We ended up married, bro. I asked her to go to dinner with me, and she told me no.
Yeah.
We became friends. I asked her out a little more. She kept telling me no. It became kind of a joke. And then I found out later it's because she's like, I had a boyfriend, but it wasn't your business. And I'm like, damn, bro, I like that.
Good answer.
Oh, my wife's a tough chick, man. She's good people, man. I love her to death.
She's great. And last thing is the mortician. The guy from I recognize him from Weekend at Bernie's. That's the only place I know him from. Yes! He was like the guy that was sent to kill Bernie, even though Bernie was already dead, obviously. And he shoots him a bunch of times, and then
he looked way different in this, though.
Yeah, he had like the Eminem,
like bleached hair. Yeah,
the bleached hair. Yeah. But anyway, that's my first half of the movie I really liked, and then I have to say my favorite part of the movie, hands down, the part that made me stop. At first, I was like, man, this is an interesting choice. I've seen great reviews, cult classic, all that stuff. And I say, so far, I'm not seeing anything that's like super like different and standouty than other things. And then I saw the first zombie reveal, and I said, okay, this is what's happening, because that was fucking awesome. That first zombie was awesome.
I used to walk around going, breaks, to my kids when they were little, and they never knew why. So the first time that they watched part of this, I had to stop letting them watch it. I had to like basically fast forward through crap. I had forgotten how much nudity was in this movie. I thought when I was letting them watch part of it with me, I was thinking like, oh yeah, she danced, and then like that was that. Sure, sort of, but she didn't ever put clothes on. So basically, I've accidentally let my kids watch a lot of horrible movies. Dude, I had no idea Conan had so much nudity in it, and I was like, oh, I had no idea about that though. I didn't even know. Arnold was a fucking savage, bro. Anyways, yeah, the zombies in this movie are crazy. My ADHD is fucking me up today, bro.
I got you.
It's like cat. But the zombies in this are outstanding, bro. I like the one. It's very simple. What really caught my attention was out of the trailer. It's not the trailer for the movie. Mm-hmm. When the skeleton pops out of the dirt and it goes, "Do you want to party?"
Yeah.
The use of that song with that movement is so perfect that it's like it made the trailer, it made this. It's in cut scenes. It's that.
I mean, they showed that zombie twice in the movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
The exact same thing.
The exact same thing twice.
And it's like because it was that cool, and it's like that's the aura of this movie to me. It's cool, man. It's cool zombies doing cool shit.
It was also
bright, it's loud.
It was surprising to see the diverse amount of different types of zombies. So we've got, just basic skeletons that have been dead for 200 years or whatever. We've got, fresh bodies. We've got people that died but didn't die and still had pretty much full faculties of everything.
There's all kinds of crap in this movie, man.
Everybody was a different version of like a zombie we've seen throughout the years. We even see that half zombie, which is to me, the first time I saw that was in the first episode of The Walking Dead, when he's walking through his hometown and he looks over and the lady in the park is just like crawling her torso towards him. In this case, they tied her up and they interrogated her
Bro, there were so many cool things about this movie because I think that they were trying to show zombies in different points of decay.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you have a zombie that's 200 years old already, it's going to be like a skeleton.
Yes.
You got one that's 6 weeks old, it might be like, oh no, I'm coming for you, bro.
Right.
But like the one that was in the ambulance and it was like, send more paramedics, and then he said, send more cops.
Yeah.
That's like, in my opinion, that might be the greatest. That's a top 10 zombie moment, in my opinion.
It's weird because it's a talking zombie, which is something that I'm really haven't ever seen.
Yeah, but it's so clever that like if you're gonna have a zombie talk, make it do something like memorable, right? That's memorable.
That was.
And Brains is very memorable. Brains, very memorable.
Plants vs. Zombies. I don't know if it's a game you've ever played.
No, but I've heard that. My kids played, I think.
I mean, it's literally the entire time that you're playing that game and the zombies are slow walking across the lawn. They're saying brains, like verbatim, like exactly the way they said it.
That's awesome.
So obviously this movie launched some things.
Oh, dude. So many things were like birthed in this 90-minute movie.
Yeah. I mean, I watched it with my wife, which is not something that we typically do, is watch campy horror. We actually looked at each other like 25 minutes into the movie and like, hey, is this supposed to be funny? Is this supposed to be like whatever? And then when I realized
silly,
the soundtrack that kicked in during slightly serious scenes, that's when I realized, okay, so it's just camp comedy horror stuff, which probably is, if I have to pick a favorite horror genre, that probably is it.
Well, this kind of movie, if you didn't have this, stuff like Zombieland wouldn't even exist. Agreed. This movie is the way movies like that are created. But I think that there's a bazillion things in this movie that you could point at as really important parts. The only part I didn't really care for was the end. And I think I'm just kind of like, it depends on the day. Like, I think it wasn't a bad ending, but I just
the end with launching the end.
And I think, okay, yeah, but like the way they ended the whole movie, like, I think part of it is that normally I want a movie to be as short and compact as I could possibly get it. But this movie, I just love it from front to back. And so I wanted 20 more minutes. I wanted more chaos, more pandemonium. We're also going to be talking on this channel tomorrow. Not on this channel, excuse me. I'm Josh's movie. We do the movie podcast on Josh's channel now.
Okay.
And we don't do only horror movies, which is why we moved it over there so we can kind of diversify our portfolio. I obviously pick, mostly punk rock or horror movies, but we're doing that movie Suburbia. Have you ever heard of that?
Yeah.
Okay, so
that's the one where they're looking at the neighbor.
No, it's a bunch of punk rock kids that are like basically like it's like The Outsiders meets shit. I don't know, dude.
Wait, what year is this?
Like 1980 something.
Oh, okay. So
it's the same lady that did The Decline of Western Civilization made a movie called Suburbia. There was a reason I was mentioning that. I can't remember what the reason was now. Anyways,
because you're watching it.
Yeah, but so this movie felt like a combination of Assault on Precinct 13.
Oh.
And probably Night of the Living Dead, like a zombie attack movie, but then Assault, because they were like all bogged down in this thing, and it kept getting more closed in as the movie went on, and that felt
when all the cops showed up,
bro.
I laughed out loud probably 4 times, and probably my biggest caught off guard laugh out loud was when the row of cops were coming in this narrow pathway, and they all stopped because there was a guy directing traffic in a cop uniform, but he was a zombie. So, which you don't really realize to the last second. And then they just go, oh, just attack every car at once.
Dude, the zombies outsmarted everybody in this movie, man.
They did.
They got everybody.
I was caught off on because like I said, I have never seen that style of zombie ever.
I thought it's great, man. I do think this is probably top 5 zombie film ever made, maybe top 3.
As far
top
as
5.
Importance or your enjoyment?
Importance and enjoyment.
I can see importance for sure.
Okay, yeah, enjoyment. This is like my personal. This is top 5, easy.
Interesting.
Yeah, easy.
Yeah.
Like, have you seen Fulci's Zombie 2, whatever, is fantastic. There's a zombie fights a shark underwater.
Oh yes.
Oh, dude, yes. We might talk. Let's talk that one of these days, man.
Okay. I'm in.
It's but I also really like one called One Cut of the Dead.
Oh, I've seen One Cut of the Dead. It's
it's Korean or
it's a Korean. Yeah. I think it's Korean.
One or the other.
Fantastic.
So they're remaking it in American, which I'm super pissed about. And I said American, not English. It's American. It's going to be stupid, probably.
Probably.
But One Cut of the Dead is
fantastic.
That's a top 5. Dude, when you saw
Train
that
to
movie,
Busan too. I mean, while we're talking about Asian,
yeah,
I mean,
I wouldn't call it my top 5, but
no, certainly not. But I thought that it was my first introduction, obviously, to, I feel like Train to Busan was like kind of like the renaissance for me personally for South Korean film, and then they went on a fucking tear for the next 5 years. South Korea. I mean, shit, they won an Oscar award. I mean, for Parasite, which I did not understand it. My wife absolutely loves that movie. I do not understand it. The only part of that movie I like.
10 out of 10. Perfect movie. There's nothing about that movie.
I don't know why. I cannot.
That's wild, bro.
I am too stupid to understand it. The only part that I love is when the guy comes running out and he goes, "Respect" at the party. That's my favorite part of the movie, but that was it.
Bro, that movie is amazing. It's brilliant, dude. Yeah. That movie.
My wife agrees with you.
I laughed and I cried and I got excited. Dude, that movie was amazing. And dude, there's like 7 or 8 different things that caught me completely off guard in that movie, and that is hard to do.
I was probably napping during those scenes. That's probably why. I'm sorry.
Well,
I wish I got it.
See, what other zombie movies are this important to me, man? Because like zombie as a subgenre isn't like my favorite. I like monster movies. Slashers are my favorite.
Yeah.
Zombie movies are, dude. This might be my favorite zombie movie, actually.
Wow.
What other zombie?
I mean, I like Zombieland. Obviously, I think that the opening credits of Zombieland, the opening scene is probably top 10.
Zombieland's up there.
Zombie related scene where he's describing the rules of killing zombies and what's important to survive. Like that's genius, and I love the way it was shot and everything about that.
I'm gonna look this up real quick. The top zombie movies. Let's see what I can find. Warm Bodies is.
What about Dawn of the Dead? What about any of those?
Well, the remake of Dawn of the Dead is, in my opinion, far superior to the original.
Okay.
And I would say that's probably my top 10, top 5, maybe. Listen, I'm trying to find. Oh, Reanimator. I guess if that's a zombie movie, that's probably my favorite.
Yeah.
Have you seen Reanimator?
Yes, but not as like an adult.
Oh shit, we need to watch that one together too. Have you heard of one called Dead Snow?
That's the one with the Nazis? Yeah, I think I have.
I've got both of those movies. I have
seen it.
That movie's amazing. Let's see. Yeah, Zombie 2 would be Lucio Fulci's Zombie 2. Let's see. Dead Alive. Is that a zombie movie? Some of these I don't really feel like they're zombie movies. I guess they are, though. Zombieland's definitely got to be up there, I think.
I mean, is Evil Dead a zombie movie?
No. Some people call it a zombie movie.
Yeah, but it's more demons. What would you call them?
Oh shit, Shaun of the Dead.
Yeah,
that's a pretty great movie.
Fantastic.
That one, like, even when I don't want to watch it, I can still put it on and watch it. Like, it's one of those timeless, like, it's just a bad mamma jamma.
Good movie.
Okay, so
do we rate these on this channel?
Well, so we don't have to rate it necessarily, but I do want to know, how did you feel about the movie?
I loved it. It was great.
Yeah.
Once I actually figured out what was happening and we got into it, I thought that there was a little bit too much like screaming, like crying type screaming that was kind of distracting. Like it was a lot of like,
there was a lot of emotional, and it was but in that scenario though, we would all be whimpering and whining and slobbering.
You know what's funny? Like as I was thinking about how annoying it was to like listen to these two dudes, the younger dude and the older dude that was getting sick, and like obviously in thinking about the amount of pain you would be in if rigor mortis was setting as you were alive. That's sick though. But those, dude.
Sorry, no, continue your thought.
No, that's it. I want to hear you. Go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say, like, that's a part of the movie. We need to pay a little more attention to that. How cool was it that they had somebody turn into a zombie over the course of the whole movie?
It's good.
And like while they're alive, they're turning into a zombie. There's a lot of stuff about this movie. I wish I'd have taken better notes. Next time we do this, I'll actually like take physical notes because I need to do that. But
yeah, Yeah, I mean, you see the scene where the older gentleman, I think it's Freddie, possibly, is because she stays behind with the younger guy, and the older guy's kind of laying off in the foreground, and his wrists are already locked up, and he's just like, ah, like screaming, crying, and I'm like, I can't even imagine, because even as they like moved them, they were in pain. Remember?
Yeah, because remember the one thing that old girl was saying was that rain made her skin hurt.
Mm-hmm.
So what about when an old dude goes in there? I think one of the most impactful scenes is when he's in the furnace room and you're like, oh, he's about to kill himself. He knows the only way to do this is to do it in there. And he pulls off his wedding band and he kisses it and he drops it on that thing. I like, as campy as this movie is, dude, that'll make somebody like me straight tear up, bro, because my wife is the most important person on this planet to me, outside of my children, obviously, right?
Yeah, because even in the scene, a couple scenes before that, he says, I need to call my wife, just randomly out of nowhere.
I told Crystal when we were watching, I said, can you imagine that? And she's like, that's insane. I'm like, dude, I can't, like, I'm dying right now, and it's unstoppable. It can't be fixed. I'm turning into a freaking zombie. Like, bro, what a powerful scene.
The only thing about that scene is I thought it was miscut. I thought that
where he puts himself in the furnace.
Yes, I think that it needs to be before the scene where the younger guy went full zombie and went crazy, because when he makes that transition, you already assume the other guy makes the transition. But even though the guy has, because even in that scene where the guy gets up and attacks them, the older gentleman also gets up. So you're also assuming that they're both going to go on this rampage.
Right. Yeah,
but then the next thing you see him in, he was just like relatively rational and got down on his knees and prayed. I think that if he drug himself up while he was still going through the transition before he fully switched over, for the other guy fully switched over, then I thought that would have been more impactful. That's just my only criticism about that.
I agree with that. I do.
It seemed out of place.
The editing was a little bad in that respect, but this movie is endlessly rewatchable. It's got so many quotable things. It's got unforgettable characters. I think that the lighting was perfect because it showed you everything. A lot of these movies hide a bunch of shit in the dark. This movie was like, bam, you're going to see everything, for better or worse. You're going to see all the skin, the practical effects, dude, I mean, I don't know, man. I really love this movie. I watch it probably once every couple of years, and I never get tired of it. Now, if I watched it more than that, I might get sick of it. But I mean, there's, well, no, dude, you can't watch a movie like this every 6 months. I mean, I guess you can, but I literally.
There was also something that I totally forgot to mention, and it's completely irrelevant, but they made it a point to talk about how hot it was. And I said to my wife, I said, why do they keep talking about how hot it is? It has nothing to do with anything. And then I think I figured it out. If you looked at a couple of the actors, they were fucking sweating profusely. And the girl was fanning herself. And I truly believe it was just fucking hot when they were filming it.
Oh, probably.
And they had to like make up a fucking excuse because they tried to, like, I don't know, what are we gonna do? Like, look at this fucking guy. I mean, that dude was fucking listening, and it had nothing to do with anything. Like, he didn't just fight somebody or anything. He was just sitting there talking to the other, sweating his ass off. And I was like, oh, that's fucking genius. They just put it in the movie because they couldn't do anything about it.
Right? People keep saying that. You're like, dude, cut. Would you stop saying it's hot?
Exactly.
Like, I can't, dude. It's 106 degrees in here.
And they were like, you know what? Fuck it. It's hot. It's hot in here. It's hot in the movie. Go for it. I love it.
Dude, I don't know. That's a good point, though. I mean, filming these low budget movies, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre is notorious for having like miserable working conditions. It was hot, and that one guy was wearing the same outfit for like a solid week, and it smelled like, you know, he had like Jesus. Rotting actual flesh on it and stuff. So like, yeah, like dude, from animals and
Texas
such.
Chainsaw Massacre 2 that you made me watch has to still be one of my favorite horror movies. I know that's blasphemy.
That. No, it's amazing.
Dude, Dennis Hopper just, oh my God, rolling in there just to try to save the day.
Bro, an old buddy with the plate in his head.
Oh my God, and the pervert It was like House of a Thousand Corpses meets Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It didn't.
Yeah.
It had nothing. It had no feel of the original movie. Which, if you're calling this a sequel to Night of the Living Dead, then that's a very similar comparison at this point.
Yeah, I think in the 80s they were going for big bombastic color and crazy,
Yep.
and why not, right? The 80s were big bombastic, colorful, and crazy. That's what the 80s were, man.
I know. I was there.
I was sort of there. I was a little
Yeah.
kid. But I mean, this movie is one that the music in it, the look, like, yeah, that guy saying that silly shit about the costume thing, while corny and cheesy. If anybody's watching this still after an hour, I mean, some people don't make it the full time. Well,
I don't blame
whatever.
them.
You know, listening to me yap for an hour, good
Yeah.
grief. That soundbite is used in literally hundreds of punk rock albums. So as silly as it was, it clearly meant something.
You know, it is. My brain is in an algorithm now, apparently, just from being on social media. But when I saw that scene, I was like, "Oh, I'm surprised I haven't seen anybody use that to cut into like a meme or something," because that was that memorable and like that ridiculous.
I think it's been a meme before.
Then I was gonna say that is definitely meme worthy.
Yeah. I mean, that's the kind
That's
of
who
stuff
I am.
Right? It's a way of life.
Awesome. Fucking awesome,
bro. The movie was so fun, man. Suburbia. I can't wait to talk to my buddies about it because I'd forgotten how raw and rough that movie is. There is some gnarly shit in that movie, bro. The ending of that movie is fucking nuts. And it's simple, dude. It's a real simple thing. I'm not gonna tell you what it is, but it's simple and it is effective, dude. Like when it happened, I just watched Carissa go.
Is it gonna make me sick? Because
sick? No, you might get a little teary-eyed.
Oh, okay, good. I don't like seeing. I don't know why, but I can't. Especially if like the bad guy wins the whole time, and fuck it makes me like fucking. Nauseous.
It's not nothing like that. But dude, I love it when the bad guy wins because I feel like it's more realistic.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a good guy proponent. Like I like the good guys, but
like I like Devil's Rejects more than I like House of a Thousand Corpses because they kind of get fucked up in that movie,
right?
Which I like.
Well, I mean, obviously, I'm a hero kind of guy. My kid is named after Spider-Man. I mean, I would have named him after Doc Ock or something if I wanted to be a villain. But, dude, you should see my kids now, bro. Bricken is almost as tall as me.
Jesus,
dude, Charlie is a full-on like 9 and almost 10 years old. Parker's 3, walking, talking. Yeah, it's wild, bro.
Dude, I gotta come down and visit, man.
Oh, you can stay here if you need to.
I gotta come down, man. I was actually thinking about going to Bedrock City Comic-Con in October.
Wait, Bedrock City's doing a Comic-Con?
Richard, I ran into Richard, the owner.
Yeah.
And at the Heroes Con, and he said, "Come on down, dude. I got you." And I was like, "I'm thinking about doing it."
Well, first off, if you come down, we have got to go get some pizza. Like I'm on this diet, I am saving up calories so I can go get some pizza with you, my man.
Man, what's the name of that place? I love that
pizza.
Oh, that shit was good,
bro. Dude. I still every now and then get to go have some, man, and I'm like, oh, this is so good.
That shit's so good, dude.
You've completely changed the way I eat my pizza, though. I haven't been able to eat it like any other way
without the stuff,
salt, pepper. Cheese, all of it. I fucking ruined it.
I gotta make it a little spiced up, man. I salt my pizza. I know that's probably terrible, but I
it's
have
super
to,
healthy.
Little Caesars actually started that for me in high school. They had something called Zing packs, which you say, hey, throw some Zing packs in there, and basically it was a spice packet, salt, pepper. Red pepper flakes and stuff, and I mean that just elevated. You're eating cardboard with government grade mozzarella cheese on it. If you put a little flavor on it, your mind gets blown. So I was hooked after that.
That's awesome, dude.
Randall, it was so freaking good to talk to you, man.
Fuck yeah, dude. I love you, bro. I miss you so much, man. I can't wait to see you again in person again.
So damn proud of you.
Thank you, brother. I mean, I've still got a long way to go, man. Have you seen?
I can still be proud of where you're at right now, can't I?
Absolutely. I appreciate that. It keeps me moving, man. Have you seen any of the little mini documentary things that I've done?
I did. I saw the Armstrong.
Okay, cool. What'd you think about that?
Oh, it's fantastic. I love the tone of it. I love it's not super hypey. It's just here are the facts.
Yeah, it's just information.
You know
but
what I'm
I
saying?
think that's the direction I'm going, like
I love
full
it.
force. I'm going that direction. I was just curious.
I love it. I thought it
What
was
is
very
your
well
schedule
edited.
like? Dude, that is hard to do. That takes a long time, man.
Yeah, I can
anybody that
imagine.
like edits video for a living, bro, dude, hats off to you, man. That is tough work. And I don't even think that mine's particularly that good. What you have? Maybe a month from now, you got some time. You want to do another one?
All you got to do is give me like 5 to 6 days heads up, and I'll make it
Perfect.
happen. That's all I need.
Well, I'll reach back out, man. Anybody that's interested in having us talk about a movie, this was actually kind of a more calm version of us. We usually cut up a lot more. It's just we haven't seen each other in so long. It's more of like a seeing the old homie, man. But you get us doing this regularly, we're gonna be fucking silly because that's the way that you should be, man. You should be having a good time. There's no reason to be serious all the time. We have enough of that in our daily lives.
For real. Think about another punk rock movie that's a horror movie, and let's go over it.
Oh, I'll come up with a list of 30 of them, bro. Yeah,
really?
dude.
That many, huh?
There's got to be, dude. Yeah, dude. There's one called God, it's the
Dude, what about the one with the Patrick Stewart as the bad guy? Green Room?
Oh, Green Room?
Yeah.
You can do Green Room anytime you okay.
I've never seen it. I love me some Captain Picard, bro. So
here,
but he's the bad guy, right?
Dude, he's the most bad guy. I couldn't believe he did the shit he did in that movie. I can't believe
Sir Patrick Stewart is a bad guy.
Bro, he's the bad guy. Wait, oh my goodness. Okay.
You consider that punk now? Probably not punk, but at least it's music related. Yeah.
That's very punk rock.
Is it?
Very punk rock. Dude, there's a punk band in the movie.
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah, I guess they are punk.
The whole premise of the movie is that punk band gets stuck at a like Nazi place.
Yeah. Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah, dude.
We gotta do that movie.
What's today? Is today Monday?
It is.
So 4 weeks from now will be the 22nd of July. You want to just pencil that in?
That sounds good. I like it.
Green Room.
Okay.
22nd of July.
I'm excited. I've been waiting to see that. I've been looking for an excuse to see that movie.
Legit one of my favorite more realistic movies. This is way dude, this movie is brutal. It's so good.
Okay. Let's go.
Hell yeah. All right, y'all. We'll have Green Room up next, man. In about a month, man. I'll see you soon, Steven. Thanks for hanging out, brother.
Randall, always a pleasure to talk to you, man. Keep doing
fucking what you likewise, my friend. It's good seeing you, man. Let me know if you need anything from me, bro.
Anytime, brother. Thanks.
All right, everybody. Y'all take it easy, guys. Later, man. Peace.